They make them in small batches and then they disappear.
Okay, we're recording now. I don't know what the problem was, but we're doing a beer here. Oh, you're showing it now?
Sure.
It's called Zoe. Oh, he's not looking, but I'm giving it away. Okay, Jeff, this is for you, sir. Maine Beer Company, Freeport, Maine. One Happy Hoppy Amber Ale. Do what's right. Drink this beer fresh. Smile. Well, I don't know how fresh it is, but we drinking it.
It should be dated. He told me they just got it in.
May 19th, 2015. It's fresh. You know, relatively fresh. Not even a month old. Okay, well, we drank all this already. So if we seem a little, you know, it's because we're a little, you know, we have Mike, famous Brooklyn beer reviewer.
We're all together here in Brooklyn, having a good time together, drinking some beer.
Giant Space Monkey.
Giant Space Monkey coming at you.
And myself, Louisiana Beer Reviews. What you know about that? Okay, now, I don't know. It's like we drank so many beers. I have to get to the Mets game. What's happening? Where am I? What's going on? All right.
What time zone is this?
All right. Anyway, hey, after the Fuller's thing, Fuller's Vintage Ale, Mardi Gras Day 2014, does it really matter? Hoppy Amber Ale. Yeah, it's hoppy. You know, it's like, hey, you ever had a hoppy beer?
Happy birthday.
I think we have, and I think it's like Happy Days. After a while, we don't need to cheer every time Fonzie comes out.
Hoppy days, did you say?
Yeah, it's like, you know.
No, this is very good.
It's like, and I'm not, you brought the beer, so I'm not, but it's like, I want to talk about this in context of what we're looking at.
It was a blind buy, so I don't take anything personally.
It's like, hey y'all, we've been there, we've done that. Are we against hoppy beers? No. Has it lost the magic? Well, you know, it's like when the Beatles put out that album in 1968, you could see that things weren't quite right. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's like, let's make an album because that's what we have to do. There's money involved. Do we really want to be together making this album? Not really. Do we really get along? Not really. Do we like the money? Yeah. So, okay, it's a hoppy ale. You understand?
Have you tasted it?
You understand what I'm saying?
Have you tasted it?
No, but you understand the point I'm making.
Yes. I think you're gonna like this.
It's like I don't need to watch every episode of Happy Days to get the drift.
I like hoppy days.
And this is different than some of the other things we've tasted. There's a different edge to it.
Well,
It's got it's hop forward for sure.
this is like Mork. It's a different universe, but it's intruding on the Happy Days universe. I'm gonna tell you why.
There is an ABV on there as well.
It's hoppy. It's an ale. It has a little bit of a brown ale note.
I agree.
You notice that?
I agree.
Right, it's not quite IPA-ish. It's like well, it says it's an amber.
Yeah, it's brown ale meets IPA.
It has a milder bitterness. It's not as intense as the IPA bitterness. The bitterness is not as intense to me.
No.
Agreed.
It's
But there
not.
is some bitterness in it. It's not completely, nondescript.
Yeah, like the guy said in 2004 in Detroit, that was not a hard foul.
Like an
No,
old...
he said that was not that hard of a foul. Remember that? When the Malice and the Palace, that was not that hard of a foul. And this is not that hoppy of a beer. It's hoppy, has hoppy notes, but if you're a hophead, it would probably disappoint
No,
you.
you wouldn't be up for it. I agree.
It kind of reminds me of Palo Santo Marron without the wood.
And that's Dogfish Head.
Yeah, without the wood. It's interesting. Zoe,
It is mild.
are they trying to play off of Sophie and Matilda?
That's a good question.
Same bottle design, white with, the kind of funny font.
The little smiley face.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm not saying that they're...
I'll take it for granted you can't get any New England of this type in Louisiana.
Not to my knowledge.
We'll take a little more.
Yeah, this it appears in Brooklyn often. It comes in small batches, and they usually have it at like the gourmet cheese shops and those sort of places.
As
And
you probably noticed...
they're not too expensive. It was about $10.99 for the bottle.
Yeah, $10.99. That ain't cheap.
It's not cheap.
That's what, 500 milliliters. Yeah,
We all got like a nice pint out of it, I would say.
7.2. You probably noticed by watching my videos, I've kind of worn out the Limburger thing.
Bacon flavored Ritz.
Yeah. And $1 off coupon. Hey, but but be that as it may, I do think this would pair well with Limburger.
I think so too.
I have yet to try Limburger, but you have made me,
Because
want to seek it
Limburger
out.
has that.
Little Rascals.
Yeah, it's
Got to grease the
really
Weezer.
Pungent. It's like really aromatic, and it's like strong, really strong. But I think the strength would cut some of the bitterness here. Not that this is particularly real bitter, but it's bitter. It's
got a bitter backside to it.
Yeah, and talking about bitterness, and I think that's a good thing to discuss. I was drinking. And people are going to say I'm going to unsubscribe to your channel now. That's okay. I bought this 12. I bought a 12-pack of Victoria Lager from Mexico.
How was that?
Well, it's the oldest Mexican beer brand. It's a Vienna lager. It's only 4% alcohol, so it's very weak relative to other beers in consideration of alcohol. But it's really bitter. I mean, if you drink the beer and you really think, don't just drink it, you think it. You know what I mean? Like, I think you have to think on a beer instead of just drinking on a beer. You know what I mean?
Yep, I got it.
It's bitter. I mean, that's a bitter beer, but it's like a straightforward bitterness. And in some ways, the Victoria,
Similar to this?
no, it's a more straightforward bitterness. This is more like a fruity bitterness, or as I might say, to the detriment of my channel, a hop resin bitterness. People say don't say hop resin, but you know what I mean. That. And the point my counterpoint was that most people watching my video reviews drink a lot of beer. They're familiar with hop resin, so they don't need people to explain it. You know what I mean? Like somebody that was like really into history wouldn't need you to explain the
Magna Carta.
right, or the Congress of Vienna, 1815. You know what I mean? They would say, "Okay, I know that."
I think they had sausages that day for lunch.
Go with their Vienna lager.
But yeah, this is like a hop resin bitter. But in some ways, it's not as bitter as the Victoria. And you've never had it, so you couldn't say, well, you're wrong. But I did do some scouting. Anytime I come to New York City, I do a lot of beer scouting. And in the Bronx, at least, there's a lot of Victoria 12 packs, which is making me think that's probably in Brooklyn. I would recommend getting a Victoria 12 pack because
I've seen it. I've never tried it.
About $13, you can get a 12 pack, which is you're gonna get 12 beers for the price of one of these, and it's a credible. I mean, they've been making it since 1865.
I don't think I've ever seen it. But I mean, it may be around.
I've seen the name.
It may be around.
It's not gonna get you drunk, but it's interesting. It's really, really interesting, and
I like the aftertaste on this. Taste it leaves in your mouth.
yeah, and
pleasant.
I'm only bringing up the Victoria because just kind of like a counterpose, like point
another bitter beer.
Point counterpoint. There's like different perceptions of bitterness. You get your fruity bitterness, and then like a
Hoppy bitterness, or I guess you.
No, I mean different.
Ex-wife
different
bitterness.
Perceptions of hoppy bitterness.
Right.
Fruity.
Different.
Fruity, and then
Right.
straightforward.
Right.
It's hard to describe if you're not drinking it, but this is more into the fruity realm.
How would you rate this?
Oh well, I would rate it high. Don't know if I would rate it as high as the Sculpin grapefruit, which I didn't pick up much grapefruit, or this. I would say A-, and I don't feel particularly comfortable giving it A-. Right
Yeah.
now. I think that's too low, but I would say that would be the lowest.
And A- is in this case would be 8.75,
Excellent.
kind of, or
If you can convert the numbers, which I'm not good at doing, but it's an excellent beer, but it's at the lower end of excellent.
And Doug, what do you
Which
think?
I feel like I'm doing the beer an injustice.
I would agree with that. I think it's a very obviously well-made beer. Has a terrific aftertaste, like you said. It's very mild. It's not overly bitter or overly hoppy, but it's, I don't know how memorable. That's easy for me to say. Memorable it is.
It's not memorable, but it's good. Now, I wouldn't turn it down, but then people might comment, yeah, but you wouldn't turn down you wouldn't turn down Milwaukee's Best Light at a party. True. So that has to be taken into account. I actually am a big fan of Milwaukee's Best Light for a mass-produced light beer. But yeah, it's, if you see Zoe and you don't mind departing with your money, I would recommend it. If you die, you can't spend money in the grave, so
May as well go for it with good beer.
yeah, I mean, like, why not? So I'm gonna say laissez les bon temps rouler, let the good times roll, and get you some Zoe One Happy Hoppy Ale. Do what's right. Yeah, it's always good to do what's right.
And it's great that Ron's in Brooklyn.
And forgive me, what was the alcohol on that guy?
It's 7.5, which to me is not too high.
7.5.
He's checking it.
I know it says it on there somewhere in pretty plain English.
I'm nearsighted, by the way, so I have trouble seeing far away, but close up, I got no problem. So these glasses, just like, you got to take them off. 7.2.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
not too high. All right, so thank you, folks, for watching this video production, and I'm going to end this. We're going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to
Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn. It's pretty famous. You probably have heard of it.
It's been in all the papers.
It's a borough.
Not a donkey.
Now press the giant space monkeys shaking my video. Sorry, folks, for that.